Welcome back to another episode of Fed Retirement Weekly, and today I'm going to answer a question that I've gotten quite often, both from my clients and from people that read the blog or the YouTube channel. And the question relates to TSP loans, and I'm going to kind of summarize, a majority of the questions I get into one basic question, and that is, should I take a loan from my TSP? Loans from retirement plans is kind of a popular topic, okay? And it's not just for federal employees, because people that are in the public sector or the private sector also have a lot of opportunity to borrow from their 401ks or the retirement program, 403b, whatever the retirement program is, okay? And I think the reason that people want to do this is they see that they could, take this money from their retirement and pay off some immediate need, whether that's supplement their income or pay off some other, debt they may have somewhere else. And so this is a question I get a lot, and I think there's a good reason for it. And it's not just from you guys watching, I get it from my clients too, when we're trying to determine, okay, how do we need to pay off your debt? How do we need to plan for retirement? Because as a financial planner, that's my job, is getting people from point A to point B. And taking loans in one manner is one way that can help in that regard. Now, if you've been watching the channel or reading my blog, for very long, you probably realize that I don't like to make blanket statements. I just don't think it's in the best interest of, the viewer. I'm considered a fiduciary, meaning I have to act in the best interest of my clients. It's something I take very seriously, and because of that, I don't like to say that everybody should do one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say, everybody should invest in the C fund, or everybody should, put their TSP in an IRA in retirement. Those aren't things I like to say. There's a lot of financial experts and gurus out there who will do that, but that's just, I don't think it's good. I don't like when people do that, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. I like you too much. So I'm not going to tell everyone watching this that you should or you shouldn't take a loan from your TSP, but I'll give you a few ideas and things to think about before you do. First off, I don't think that nobody should take a TSP loan. I don't think, I don't agree with the idea that nobody should ever borrow from their TSP. Okay, there are cases in which I think people should borrow from their TSP. Let me give you an example. Many of you guys, or not many of you guys, but some of you guys have credit card debt. Okay, credit card debt is the worst debt there is. The reason it's the worst debt is not because it's a credit card, it's because of the interest rate. Okay, we rate debt based upon how high the interest rate is. Okay, so if your interest rate on a credit card is 22% and your mortgage is a, 4% and your student loan is a 6%, well, the ranking of those as far as bad to good would be credit card is the worst, then student loans, and then your home loan, okay? And the reason is because you're paying more in interest on the credit card than you are on your home mortgage, okay? Now, something to be aware of with the TSP loan is a TSP loan has a very low interest rate. The interest rate that TSP charges is around 2.125%, at least that's what I can find. I'm not sure if they've updated it recently, but that's what I've seen as close as 2016, so I don't know if that's been updated. But either way, around 2% interest rate, it's much lower than what you can find with most programs, okay? Now, one thing you have to be wary of, though, is that money that you're borrowing from the TSP is no longer going to be earning interest in the account. See what I'm saying? So you're going to be paying 2% on that interest until you pay it back, but it's also not going to be earning money by being in the market. Okay, so you have to factor that into things. Okay, you need to be thinking about that before you make a decision. Now, in that example, let's say that you have a credit card where you're paying a 20% interest rate. Okay, so you're paying 20% interest rate, you have $10,000 in credit card debt, and you have $100,000 in your TSP. Okay, well, your TSP on average, okay, let's say you just had the best average and you stuck it all into the S fund, which earns around 10%. Okay, a little bit higher than 10%. Well, if you're earning that 10%, okay, and the interest rate would be 2%, okay, if you borrowed that money and paid off the credit card debt, which is 20%, okay, that would be a situation that may be beneficial to you. That would be a situation that you may want to look at and say, okay, I think this would be a good opportunity for arbitrage because I'm going to, essentially have a better opportunity to get out of debt and make more money sooner by paying off this debt by taking the low interest rate offered through the TSP. Obviously I won't gain that interest through the TSP in the market, but I'm not going to be paying 20% on my credit card. Okay, that's a situation in which it may be helpful. Now, another thing you need to think about is how that TSP loan is going to be paid back, because that loan is going to be paid back through your payroll. Okay, so because that loan is going to be paid back to TSP through your payroll, that means you're probably not going to be able to contribute as much to your TSP during that time. So you're also going to be losing out on those contributions. Okay, but that being said, if you got $10,000 in credit card debt, I would say, after you're investing that 5% in the TSP, that's going to be your main thing to look at drawing down. Okay, at least in my opinion. Okay, after you've established a basic emergency fund, that would probably be the steps in which I would order it. My biggest suggestion before deciding to take a TSP loan is simply to look at the numbers. Okay, do some planning. Okay, I always talk and I harp on planning, but it's so helpful. Okay, you don't have to have a financial planner. It can help. Okay, I've seen it because I'm a financial planner. That said, you can do it on your own, but you need to be looking at the numbers and seeing if it's a good decision from the numbers. You shouldn't just look at it and say, oh, I think this will be okay, so I'll go forward with it, okay? Because once you look at the numbers, it will give you an answer of whether you can do it or whether you shouldn't, okay? But these are just some ideas to look at before taking a TSP loan. It's not always a bad idea. It's not always a good idea. It's just something, just like everything else, that you need to do your homework on. But this has been Cooper with FedRetirementPlanning.com. This question was generated through you guys. So if you have a question, I'll actually put a link in the bio below where you can go to a web page where you can ask me questions and email me. And I try to answer them within a couple days. So feel free to ask me any questions you got or in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.
I can do this all day, I can do this all night.